Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of FSEconomy with me, your herd 37. So I've got this flight going from Huntington, that's KHTS, over to Pittsburgh, KPIT. I've been meaning to do this flight, and I just haven't had time. In fact, some of them I had on here, I think it was a 4-person flight, actually expired. But they put more up here, so actually we have 4 people going. There's actually another set of 4 going there, but I was just checked. If you do 3 individual, it's actually cheaper than like 4 people in a group, like by a good amount. So that's kind of odd. As you can see, it's about 167 nautical miles up to Pittsburgh. The plane has 54%. It's a Beechcraft Baron 58, by the way. They'll even flying a little bit in air hauler 2 as well. So that's plenty of fuel. Let's go ahead and look over here at FS Commander. So I had to check to see which the active runways are on both airports. In Huntington, the active is runway 30. That's usually what it is anyway, unless the wind is coming from the east. But it's runway 30 heading 299 degrees. And then we'll come up here to Pittsburgh. And I thought this was kind of odd. They have runway 32 as the active. This one right here, heading 325. Airport elevation is 1,142 feet. Because it's a big towered airport and everything, instead of going and doing a traffic, I don't think you'd even do a traffic pattern about a huge airport like that. At least not a GA plane. So I figure we'll just come over here and come straight in. Maybe we can come over here to, like, was that Weiler? Yeah, I'll do something like that. I'll make that flight plan like that. Let's see. And that I do need the ILS frequency. I forgot about that. It's a 111.3. So 111.3. Let's get out of here. And let's go ahead and move on over to the plane. Alright everybody, here we are at the plane. This is, of course, the Beechcraft Baron 58. That's the little KLM. I think KLM actually uses this plane in training and stuff. I believe that's true. Don't hold me to it, but I think that is true. Let's go ahead and start this flight. At 531 pounds, man, it is perfectly... I don't understand that. I mean, that's a huge... I don't understand. How can this plane be up by 500 pounds? I don't get it. Never will. Alright, so let's go ahead and start this thing out. We got the procedures right here. Mixture control, full rich. So we'll go with the right engine first. Propeller control, high RPM. Throttle, fully open. Alright, so we'll hit the boost pump until the fuel flow peaks. Well, you got to turn the battery on. I don't really like... Misses a few things. Peak, turn that off. Alright, now we'll close the throttle and open it. It says approximately ½ inch. So go ahead and open that. Go ahead and start her up. Now we're going to keep it right around 900 to 1,000 RPM. So bring that throttle back. By the way, we have oil pressure, so that's good. So I'm going to increase the throttle just a little bit. I'm going to ride around 900 to 1,000. Warm up. And we have, like I said, oil pressure. We can see that. Actually, we're going to warm up, 900 to 1,000. Alright, let's go ahead down here and turn the alternator. By the way, you got to turn the beacon on. It never says that. Always forget that. Right alternator coming on. Now it says check for battery charge. We never get anything. Well, we do have bus volts down here, so it looks like it must be charging. It doesn't have anything on the alternator load. The red start annunciator did come on. It's now off. Alright, so now we go over and do the same thing with the other engine. Mixture control, full rich. prop high RPM. Let's go ahead and turn the fuel boost on. Well, actually, the fuel flow did not go near as high on that one. That's kind of odd. So we'll click that off. Oh, I know why. There we go. Now we can cut that off. We're supposed to have that all the way up. Bring this all the way back, open it up just a little bit. A half inch or so. Go ahead and start this. Now bring that about 900 to 1,000 as well. We have oil pressure down here as well. Oh, wait. And the temperature's in the green. Alright, so that's coming up. That looks good. 900 to 1,000, we're pretty much right there. Like I say, we do have oil pressure, so we're going to let it warm up. We're not using external power, so we don't need to disconnect anything. Left alternator coming on. You see the lights extinguished. But still, bus volts all the way up. Alternator load's still nothing on there. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn the avionics master switch on. There we did get a little bit of alternator load there. Nav lights, let's go ahead and turn those on. Alright, we're about ready to taxi. I think we've got pretty much everything on. Pitot heat, we need that on. Stall warn heat, prop heat, and windshield heat. I think that's about everything we need right here. You set my altimeter. And we were supposed to have those open. Not everything is on the list. It's kind of a little bit frustrating. But it's an older plane from Carenado. 299 is our heading of the runway for takeoff. Bring these up. Turn these messages off. And then we gotta pop one out and do it again. We pop this out. I don't know why it's like there's two separate ones. Turn the messages off. And you can hit the default key right there and it'll turn it over to the map. I prefer that. Alright, let's go ahead and set our altitude here for, I think I was setting it for 7,500. Taxi light coming on. Alright, let's go ahead, head over to the right, I guess. A little bit of fuel, a little bit of throttle, I should say. I turned the traffic down, commercial traffic, down to 50% because I figured Pittsburgh could be pretty busy. I tried to remember to do that at some of these bigger airports. Like, I forgot at Charlotte. I wanted to do that at Charlotte. Completely forgot. But I did do that this time. I finally remembered. And I think we can still take off from this intersection with the Baron. Pretty sure she can still get up. It's not a huge amount of runway. Like, I don't think the Baron needs that much. Right over here and we'll do our run up. It's got a kind of an awkward run up, I think. Alright, stopping right here. Throw on the parking brake for a second. Okay, so the parking brake is set. The fuel boost pumps are off. All instruments have been checked. Reset my altimeter. Everything looks good. We've set the heading for the runway and everything. Fuel indicators. Forget almost where our fuel, down here it is. We're about 54%, so that looks good. The mixtures are in full rich. Alright, so we'll move the throttles up to 2200. little above it. Now we're gonna exercise the props to get 200 to 300 RPM drop. Right is good. Left is good as well. Now we throttle down to 1700 RPM. Bring it down a little bit more, trying to get her there to 1700. Come on. Alright, 1700 RPM, right about there. Check the mags. Look good on the right engine. Let's try the left. Alright, left is good as well. Now it says feathering check. So I'm guessing it's kind of the same thing because it doesn't want you to allow more than 300 on the RPM. So like I said before, it can cause a problem. Too much pressure on the shaft and everything. Alright, so that's good. And throttles, it says note RPM. Let her come down. Sometimes I mistake manifold pressure, by the way, with RPM. Like, I kept doing that with the heat, warming it up, but it's almost the same as when you're warming up, because right there's about 900 to 1,000. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set the flaps. Let's go ahead and check out the controls. Looks good. Rudder pedal's good. So flaps are set, flight control's good. Doors and windows, we're going to say we're good there. Alright, so we're good to go ahead down the runway. Let's go ahead and turn on our landing lights and our strobes. And if I can hit it down here, yes, alternator. We'll go ahead and hit that. Or not alternator, but altitude on the transponder. Parking brake is off. Let's enter the runway. I'm going to come out here to the left just a little bit so we can make sure we get our full runway. Well, not full runway, obviously, but as much as we can get from over here. Alright, let's go ahead and get on out of here. Trying to get straight. There's a little left and right there for a second. I'm having to go way right. Trying to get her back on the center line. Let's go ahead and rotate. Hit the brakes. Let off. Retracting the gear. Come straight out here just a little ways. We can go ahead and retract the flaps as well at airspeed. Looks good. It's obviously overcast. Not surprising. I live not a couple hours away. I know the weather's bad. I have to let go of the yoke for 1 second. I could have trimmed this just a little bit better before I let go. I don't want that nose coming down. So I gotta get these procedures out over to the next next page. Alright, 2,500 RPM. But full throttle, it says. Alright, we're right about 2,500 RPM there. We're far enough from the airport. Let's go ahead and head to our right. Crossing 3,000 feet, so we're about to need to start leaning out to it, I believe. I get that white line there. I don't know why. It has to do with the weather. Because as soon as you get out of it a little ways, it stops, and also happens on the descent. Yeah, that's one thing. We're going to be in the clouds bad. With all the precipitation and everything. I would have to think that would be like perfect icing conditions. Although maybe a little warm. I'm going to fly with my gauges here. A little disconcerting for me. Bring that nose back up. Man, she came flying back up. Keep on coming, girl, to the right. Trying to bring down the nose just a little bit. Could use autopilot, but I'll keep flying her for a second here. They're pointed over towards the line. Oh, nose is coming down. Man, the controls are really finicky. Go ahead and straighten her out here. Flying towards that line a little easier now. By the way, I did set my flight plan to as a wilder or whatever, and then we can turn straight to the runway. You can hear my engines. They need to be leaned out, I know. Autopilot on, yaw damper. I'm going to go ahead and use the heading. Altitude, now let's go ahead and move it up to 7,500. Armed for the altitude. Damn it. Let me go vertical speed. Here we go. Climb at about 1,000. Let's go ahead and lean this out. So you can hear the engines coming back up. Set this back over top here. There we go. Alright, now I feel a little bit better about things. Then once we get up to 7,500, we'll close the cowlings. See, it's not quite climbing at 1,000 here. It does that sometimes. It doesn't really go to the at the speed you set it to. Maybe we can get up the layer of clouds here. Actually, 7,500 might be a great altitude. I'm not sure what the white line, if that has to do with just when the weather is real bad, like overcast, or what that is all about. Let's go ahead and lean it out a little bit more. Now you see that is broken away, and now we're to the clouds again. I don't quite understand how that happens. I also don't understand the vertical speed of this plane. Doesn't want to cooperate. Alright, does this have desired track? It does 050. Oh, you know what? I know why. Nav. CDI. Didn't quite get to the line. I thought that looked a little weird, that heading, 050. Now I know why. Alright, so let's go ahead and close the cowlings. going to go ahead and bring the power down as well. Remember to bring the power down before you do the props. And when you power up, you move the props before you move the power. I'll put her right around 65 if I can. 65, I'm fine with that. Move it down one more notch. Puts it right there at 75. Puts us about in the middle there on the green. So I'm alright with that. Put that at 50 real quick. We want to come down here. We can turn off our taxi light. No, that's actually we can't because it does that. I'm going to go ahead and turn on prop sync. Actually, before I do that, let's look over here. We have our EGT. It can help you lean it out. However, the other joke is actually away. It seems more programmed than actually realistic. If I just move it down like that, 365. See, it keeps on coming up like it's supposed to, but I get a little worried about how much can I lean it. I mean, we're at 40% right now. Let's see if I can get the temperature on that again. 376. See, it comes up 392. I just get a little worried about it's going to get lean too much, and we're just going to end up, you know, cutting off the fuel entirely. So I'm going to leave it right there at about 35%. Sometimes I'll move it down to 30 if we're up around 9,500 feet. Since we're at 75, I'm going to leave it at 35. There's Weiler. That is our waypoint. As you can see, we're about 149 miles away from it. There's nothing really to see. We're kind of in the clouds here. Got the anti-ice on and everything, the windshield heat. I can get down here. So prop heat, everything hopefully will be good. There's it's not really a good day for flying, I guess, technically. With all the clouds in the air, I can't really get above them. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead, I guess, and just kind of thinking about manifold pressure. Should I be using more power? Because we're at the edge of the green there. What if I did just add a little bit more power? I'll leave it at 71 right there. You can see it's still a pretty low fuel flow. What is that? About 7 or 8 an hour? Yeah, gallons an hour. 5, yeah, about 7.5 or so gallons an hour. We've got tons of fuel. Breaking out of some scattered clouds around here. Alright, well, yeah, I'll go ahead and speed on up, everybody. And I'll be back in just a bit. Alright, everybody is slowing it down. That looks like it must be downtown Pittsburgh right there. About 3 miles out from Wilder, and we'll make our left turn to a heading of 325. Let me move the course over there. Alright, let's go ahead and set the ILS frequency 111.3. See if I can do this. 111.3. See, it actually does have it tuned in already. So looks good. 2 miles out. We're full rich on the mixture now. High RPM. Taxi light is on. We're at 3,600 feet. That puts us about 2,500 feet from the landing altitude of the runway. As we turn left here. By the way, everything is in extremely dense. Just hoping it would run pretty good. It is pretty smooth. Because you always get texture popping. Always get that. Good old FSX. Although I guess you get some in P3D, even P3D version 4 as well, but not as bad. Alright, so 325. Alright, let's go ahead and switch this over to V-Lock. Equalizer, oh, right there. Approach hold, we may be too high now. Daggone it. Let's see if let me see if I can increase that just a little bit to 1,000. Going over at nav, got to get down. Gears coming down. Let me come back off the power a little bit more. Yeah, I had it right there at the turn, man. Pretty much the perfect altitude. I think we're starting to come back on a little bit now. Get that out of here. Oh, just resetting my view. Flaps. Coming back on it now. Slow descent rate. Approach hold. Yeah, see, that didn't work. Maybe if I turn vertical speed off. Nah. Autopilot coming off. I guess you have to turn vertical speed off to get that off. For it to follow the glide slope. It's a little low now, so increasing the power. Now we're coming back on it. I think that's the first time I would try and use ILS ever since I started flying the Baron again. And we have to remember about the landing speed as well. I think the second time I flew this on a cargo flight in Air Hauler 2, I pretty much stalled her out and dropped to the ground and did a lot of damage to it. Although I don't think FSEconomy recognizes that stuff. Alright, back off the power as we're getting high. Sometimes that speedo needle in this plane will start switching as well, which makes it a little more difficult as trying to determine the speed. When it's twitching back and forth. Still slightly high. Alright, we're at full flaps. Increase the power just a little bit. So now we're back on the glide slope. We don't want to get low, which we probably will. Up now we're slightly high again. Increase the power and put the nose down because that speed is right there. Increase the power just a little bit more to keep us on that rate. Off the power just a little bit more. A little bit more. Off to the right a little bit. Coming back left. Coming down off the power. Flyer to the ground. Off the power. Pretty good. Getting a little left now. I think we were supposed to fly her to the ground a little bit more than that. I thought we were a little closer to the ground than I guess we actually were. Alright, so let's find a taxiway. I think it's... I'm wanting to say that the taxiway is over to the right. Or that the more of the buildings and stuff are to the right. I can't really remember though. Gotta find somewhere to park. Maybe you should have gone left. I see a bunch of houses over here and stuff. Let's pull up here. We got our plane resituated. Alright, first off, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording on that. Let's get our strobes off, landing lights as well. Let's go ahead and open up the cowlings. And I guess that's probably the closest place to park. Actually, that over there is maybe, I don't know. Let's take a look. Jump up here so we can take a better look. Have to cross over the runway and everything over there. Have to do the same thing over here. I think that's the better place though. A lot more open and everything. Let's go park over there. Don't know, can I hit... Alright, I guess that did take it off. Yeah, it seemed like a pretty good landing. My best one probably in the Baron yet. Like I said, maybe I was supposed to fly a little bit lower to the ground before I fully got off the power. They tell me, always remember that comment from X-Plane 11, my first video in it, to fly the twins down to the ground. Don't let it float like you do like a single engine plane. Now we're about to cross the runway. I don't know if you need to put your strobes and landing lights or anything like that on since you're just crossing over it. We're literally just running right over. I thought the taxiway was right there. Now I'm thinking we do need to have our landing lights on and stuff. I was thinking it was right at the corner. It's actually right here. Get off the runway! Guess maybe it's a good thing that I brought the traffic down. Left the general aviation up, but I don't think there's a lot of general aviation flying at Pittsburgh International. Can't imagine why. Alright, so we'll just pull over to the left here. Big open area over here. Just right over here and park her. There we go. Parking brake. FSEconomy will grab it. There Alright, so after landing, actually I've already done that. Flaps are retracting. I should have already done that, I guess. Parking brake is set. Propellers high RPM. They are. Fuel boost pumps are off. Electrical and avionics equipment. We need to turn all that off. I'm going to get this off as well. Could have already turned that off, I guess. Let's turn the electronics off though first. Cut that off. Avionics smash. I'm going to go ahead and turn off nav as well. Alright, so let's see. Mixture idles. Go to cutoff. Cut that off. Beacon can come off. Magnetos go off. Right alternator, left alternator. Battery, and I believe I can just bring those back. Alright, and with that, let's go ahead and move over to FSEconomy, and we'll get ourselves paid. Alright, here we are. So the income was $3,620. We rented the airplane for an hour and 20 minutes at $205 an hour. So it cost us $273.67. We used $98.23 worth of fuel. We paid $362 for the ground crew fee, bringing that all up to $460.23. Distance miles, we got 1946 for it, bringing the total amount to $2,905.56. 517.56 to YT Flyers and 23.88 to me. Let's go ahead and move some of this money over. I think this is how we want to do it. Yeah, deposit into bank. So $8,974. And I'll move a little bit of this over. $2,936.97. So now we just need to bring up the right to $94,469.74. I'll throw that in. $46,993.56. Plus the $20,000. $161,463.30. So up to $161. Making headway, slowly but surely. We're making headway to get ourselves another plane. I wonder how much a Baron costs, by the way. I think we may have actually looked at that last video. Like, how much is, because everybody has, that's the thing, everybody has this plane. I'm pretty sure we did look at this. So that's still $300,000. I mean, I like the Cessna 337 and everything, but not everyone, I guess, has that plane. You can get a freeware probably out there somewhere, or the Carenado one like I have. But everyone has the Baron 58. And I mean, it's just a pretty good plane, I gotta say. Because the only other one we thought about was the Cessna Grand Caravan. This is the 208 Caravan. Because everybody has that as well. But yeah, $650 grand. I mean, they make you a ton of money, but yeah, it's over double what we're planning on paying. Yeah, $240, man, that's so much cheaper. Doesn't have GPS, so plan on another 60 in it. It's still going to be up around the same, and they both carry 5 people, so we'll have to make that kind of decision. But, alright, well, that's going to be it for this episode, everybody. I hope you all did enjoy it. I'll catch you guys on the next flight.